Hi, Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dawg. Well, I got a fantastic program for you today, and it starts out LotLinx. A couple of years ago, they had a program called the Year of the Dealer, and I was privileged to be part of the video panel on that show. And the people at LotLinx have been good friends. They've been sponsors of mine when I was doing the conferences. And today, I've got Alex Karpyza. Now, did I do that okay?
Yeah, perfect. Nailed it.
I mean, I've been practicing Alex's name for about 3 weeks now. Seriously, Alex Karpyza from LotLinx. What's your function with LotLinx, Alex?
Yeah, so I'm the Senior Director of Product Development. So I oversee all new product and existing product initiatives, all the way from vision through to execution to our customers.
Fantastic. That sounds pretty technical. Okay, and now going way back, and not that far way back, but a good friend of mine, a lot of equity in this friendship, Melissa Marjanovic. And I had to learn to say your name again recently.
Yes, you did.
What do you what do you what do you do at LotLinx?
I am the National Strategy Director. So I bring on new business nationwide as well as help dealers with existing LotLinx service and growing their market share and turn. And yeah.
It's amazing because most recently I've heard all this new technology coming out of LotLinx. I mean, you lifted up, you did a total frame up restoration of the whole company. Tell me what you've been doing.
So you know my background a little bit. So just want to briefly say I came from the search engine marketing space. I was there for 9 years. I've been in digital marketing for close to 20 actually, which is, don't do the math. But when I was doing search engine marketing with dealers, there was a lot of reallocating manually with their investments, looking at all their channels to see what's going to help them get a better ROI. And then I got a phone call when I left NetCertive and heard about this technology with LotLinx that basically does that with technology. So I have never seen anything that actually focuses, that's so dealer centric, focusing on the actual inventory and really coming off of focusing so much on, when you're everything that I always did with a dealer was talking about all their KPIs, looking at all these, click-through rates and impression shares, and the channels are so channel centric and not dealer centric, because you put a vehicle on in Facebook is going to optimize for clicks, but a dealer has a specific car that they want to actually push, and there's no focus really on the inventory. So I found this company and I was just blown away by what they're doing. And then of course I brought some of my dealers on board, and I'm blown away at what they're able to do to help dealers get a healthier inventory.
Okay, well, let me ask Alex a question. Alex,
Sure.
now I'm hearing about all this new technology development with LotLinx. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, so we've been up to quite a bit, throughout the pandemic and over the past few years. And what we've really realized is, as during the pandemic, we saw a lot of dealers face a tough situation. So what we said was, how can our technology help here? And so what we've realized is we're on a mission to make dealers more VIN aware. And what we mean by that is, we see the full set of dealers' inventory. We see where they're advertising that inventory, the impact it has on sales from ourselves as well as their other vendors. And what we've really been seeing is that there's not a real VIN-specific approach to how they're measuring their marketing.
Let me ask you, what does VIN specific mean?
Yeah, certainly. So looking at the individual vehicles and the performance of those vehicles by the channel, the spend associated with them. Ultimately, what we want to show dealers is give them everything from, when they've, purchased a vehicle, recon that vehicle, promoted that vehicle.
That specific vehicle.
Exactly. In specific vehicle. Yeah.
Sometimes I ask questions to which I know the answer.
Sure. Absolutely. And so we look at those individual vehicles, we give them insights about those VINs, the exact type of marketing mix that we feel they need, and how they should effectively be promoted in order to decrease the days to sale compared to what they're seeing in their market competition.
Isn't everybody else in the market doing this?
Yeah, certainly. And I think, there's a lot of vendors out there that are doing a great job of promoting dealers' inventory, but we take it a step further and try and focus on promotion from that VIN or from that vehicle as opposed to a group of vehicles. So, a 2018 Honda Civic in Chicago should have an entirely different marketing mix than a 2018 Ford Escape, for instance, two different types of vehicles. And so we try and focus in on those specific VINs or those specific vehicles and say, here's how they should be advertised. And what we try and do is eliminate waste at the ones that are already getting enough love and try and bring up the vehicles that we see are in a bit of a risk position in being under engaged.
And you've got technology that can recognize this.
Absolutely. Yep. We've got AI machine learning models working in the background, working overtime.
You did it. You dropped in the AI word. Everybody says they got AI. I hear AI, I got artificial intelligence and just machine learning, right?
Yep, certainly. And there's no shortage of AI and machine learning that companies are doing these days, especially in 2021. What I think, is a main differentiator is
what differentiates LotLinx?
Sure, certainly. So a couple main differentiators that I see personally is one, we always look at the state of the market. So we're always running a model that looks exactly at, taking into account competing inventory, stocking levels, demand, geographical impact, environmental impact, economic impact, especially in these days. So we're always watching that across the entire industry to see how this is moving and ebbing and flowing and adjusting for that in the strategies that we provide our dealers with vehicles that they need to be putting into promotional campaigns and how to execute that. So that's the first place. The second is we know everything about every single vehicle in the market. We have crawlers that go out and crawl every single dealer website. For all of our individual dealers that subscribe with us, we look deeply into their Google Analytics.
Okay, now there are other vendors that sort of do that.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, we're looking for superiority.
Yes, sophistication, I think, is what comes to mind with LotLinx. So we've been doing that, collecting all of this, and the last number that I heard, and Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, we are looking at 100 million different shopper touch points that are, on over 4,000 research sites on a daily basis. So then we collect and store. 100 million. 100 million. So I'm told it costs a lot of money to even store this data a month. And we've been capturing this data for over 10 years. Yeah. So machine learning, something that I learned recently is, and this is why you hear AI all the time. Did you know that you could go to a machine and code it and teach it to do something in 2 hours and then say, we have machine learning? So my question always, when any company, and I tell dealers this all the time, if a company is telling you that they have AI, you want to go and ask them, what's the level of sophistication your AI is? Because AI really just means you're smart in something. So how long have you been collecting this data? And what's the level of sophistication there? And there's a bunch of other questions that I would put a list together to say, ask this, because it really boils down to.
Okay, well, you are the sales mind part of this team. Not that Alex is totally ignorant, but still, I don't want to put Alex down. You're the sales mind here. Okay,
I am. I'm just passionate about that.
Okay. We're talking ROI. We're talking 30,000 feet. Mm-hmm. How's this going to help the dealers sell more cars, make more money? That's always what you hear. We're going to go to digital dealer at the end of the month, and next month, what we're going to hear is make more money, sell more cars. I mean, every vendor's shouting that from the aisles. So how are we going to sell more cars, make more money?
So I'll start, and then Alex, you can answer too. Sure. But so we start with the inventory, and we're looking at all of those different things that Alex was talking about earlier, but we're actually looking at margin potential, days on lot, and a lot of different things that are important to the dealer. And we start with that inventory. We then, because of our AI, we actually know when people are about to buy a car. We know when they are about to pull the trigger because we're following them.
Okay, we got predictive intelligence.
Predictive intelligence, exactly. Okay. So then we're matching those buyers, and then we're scanning the dealer's inventory, and then we match them together on any channel. So it's channel agnostic. So it could be a Google ad, it could be Facebook, and that's where the efficiency comes in, and that's where the technology is going to determine where to place that ad for the best buyer to, in the market that matches with the dealer's inventory. So if you can actually think about getting this, and we're driving directly to a VDP page on a dealer's website. So if you can land a buyer directly on their website on any channel that they're
wait, everybody, let me jump in here a second. I just heard you say something. I want to be sure I understand what you're saying because I don't want to repeat it.
Hmm.
I don't want to make any ifs, ands, and buts. You're landing the customer right on the VDP, the real VDP on
Correct.
the dealer's website.
Hmm.
Okay,
Absolutely.
you're not wait a minute, you're not showing them some page on your own website and with a picture of their VDP and telling them that's their VDP.
Exactly.
Okay. Like I won't name anybody, cars.com. But anyway,
This is
I
why I
won't name anybody that does that. But anyway, I won't
nobody.
name anybody that does that. But it seems to me that most of the lead providers in the market, and you're differentiating yourself away from being a lead
We
provider.
are
Okay,
not a lead
most
provider.
of the lead providers in the market will they say it's a VDP, but it's really just a picture of the dealer's VDP, and they got 5 other units and finance sources on the sidebar. So
Well,
you're
like
not are you doing that?
no, well that goes right back to, one of the problems that we're seeing in the industry and why there are these companies that are cutting into dealers' profits because they are
Vroom
more
and Carvana and yeah,
yeah, because everybody is more they're more about themselves than they are really about helping the dealer. Everything is more customer centric or channel centric, meaning they're
okay. Now
about
you finally explained customer centric.
mhm.
We're talking to a lot of people and they've got to be able to understand where we're coming from here.
Right.
Hello, Don
Hey,
Brady.
Don,
You know that man, don't you?
too.
Yeah. Okay. When you say customer centric, we're talking about benefiting the customer, not benefiting the vendor that sold the deal or the program.
Or benefiting the vendor and benefiting the customer, but leaving the dealer behind, not really
Exactly.
focused on the actual dealer and his inventory. Facebook and cars.com and these guys, they don't, and sorry, I know Alex is really big on not throwing names out, but I know you are, Jim, so I'm just going with it.
I
Um,
will. I'm not going to mention Cars.com or Auto Trader. No, no,
but
I'm not going to say they do what I just said.
so these companies are, are building everything that they're doing for the customer and, showing the dealer a bunch of eyeballs or a bunch of clicks, but it's not down to the VIN level to where the dealer can really have control over his inventory and what he really wants to show, more than just putting it on a channel and hoping and praying that the shopper comes and finds it. So there's
Well,
no
I was more interested in the landing that right on the dealer's website,
right,
not
absolutely.
not diverting the customer to another page with other advertisements on it and other dealers' inventory. Alex, jump in on that a second.
Sure. Yeah, so from my perspective, it's all about being first party, right? We want to give the dealers that first party customer. We want them to own the relationship with that customer. And so when we are scouring the market and we find an in-market buyer, and from regardless of what channel we send it, they're looking again. My token example, that 2018 Honda Civic, it's blue. It's at Alex. It's at Alex Honda in Chicago, Illinois. And they click on that ad on a listing site that we have integrations for through a social media ad platform.
Even on
Well,
cars.com.
as a consumer, I want to land right on that exact car. I don't want to go to the homepage, or I don't want to go to another site where I have to fill out a lead form. I'd love to land right on that dealer's website, see that
Okay.
vehicle for myself. And then if I convert a lead, fantastic. That's now the dealer's lead. They don't have to pay anybody for that lead.
They don't have to pay anybody beyond
Yep.
the whatever subscription, whatever they do with LotLinx. That's it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and put something on the screen ahead of time here. Let's see. Is that correct, Melissa?
Yes, that's my
Yeah,
email.
I want that to be up there for a while, so they can get directly in touch with you
Yes.
on that email. And of course, they could
And
use the LotLinx website, but we're going to go back to.
well, one of the reasons too, Jim, I just want to say that they should reach out and contact me is because if they don't know every dollar that they're spending in their marketing and how it's spread over every single one of their VINs, they need to call me for a free audit because we can actually pull the curtain back and show them just from their Google Analytics and their inventory feed how like where
You
these
just said
used.
something that just absolutely okay. You just lit me up because here you are. Here's LotLinx saying, go to the Google Analytics feed. Yeah. How many people are coming in with attribution? And you know what you know the Ziegler saying, figures lie when liars figure,
Yes.
So here they come with attribution, that if you believed attribution, any one of those vendors sold 73% of your sales,
You're right.
and it's just not true.
So
So
that's why we are basically like a third party, that we're not another channel. We basically look at all of their marketing channels to determine how effective they are across all of their VINs. And then we have our technology when you're on the LotLinx platform to be able to place your ads on these channels. But what you find, though, which was fascinating to me when I joined this company, out of all the dealers that I look at, and we have thousands and thousands of dealers, I'm looking and I'm seeing that about 80% of their entire marketing budget, whether it's search, social, AutoTrader, Cars.com, Car Gurus, it's concentrating on just 20% of their VINs. So you just have this mismatch of these views, and then you have a ton of their inventory that's underexposed. And what happens if a car doesn't get a VDP view? If no one's looking at the car, you're not going to sell that car and it's going to age. So now you're going to start, and even now, there's not always an aging problem with the way the market is, as we know, but I'm still talking to dealers that they might be turning their inventory in 25 days and now they're turning it in 15. So they're turning over their inventory twice a month now.
Right now, dealers can sell all the cars they can get. But this chip shortage is going to end, and when it ends, it's going to be a real crash. I mean, because the manufacturers have got hundreds of thousands of units already built, just waiting for chips. And when those units hit the market, and they're going to hit the market relatively all at once. And those cars that we've been selling now for overinflated values are going to be so upside down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's going to be absolutely terrible. But then all of a sudden, we're going to have to start selling cars again.
Yeah.
And now is the time to start marketing. Now is the time to get on top of all of that.
Absolutely. And how many dealers have you seen that have just, I've seen so many posts that they're just getting lazy with everything, with their sales process, with advertising.
Oh my God. I'm seeing on LinkedIn and all my social channels, dealers, giving each other trophies for having record months. Excuse me, a monkey with a note in his mouth could have had a record month this year.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah, anybody can sell cars right now, but if you can get them.
Right.
But that's going to end.
Yeah, and I think what's really important about the position we're putting ourselves in here is we're trying to help dealers be proactive. So if they can start to become VIN aware, as I like to say, and you'll hear me say it a few times, and start to consider how they're allocating their marketing dollars and their spend investment really against their inventory, how that's converting to sales for them, and start to develop a healthy process of not over allocating to certain VINs and ignoring certain ones, which just happens naturally. What we want to do is kind of make that, instead of a heavy slope, we want to make that a nice stair step. Naturally, certain cars are going to need more love than others to sell. But what we want to do is start the dealers to educate themselves on that, to start to analyze their inventory at the VIN level in that manner, and then go back to their vendors and say, why am I spending 80% of my budget on 20% of my VINs? I'm giving you 200 cars. How come only 40 are getting a VDP view?
Yes.
What we want to do is educate that and illustrate it for them for free through the use of our tools and get them proactive about managing their inventory as opposed to reactive, which is certainly not a situation we want to find ourselves in.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking at the entire market right now, and everybody is walking in the dealer's door right now. And if they can even get an audience, I'm telling dealers, I'm shouting it like Paul Revere riding through the streets of cyberspace, look at new vendors, look at new sources, look at new technologies, look at new CRMs, look at new everything. Because technologies have developed so quickly.
Yes.
And, what you have, people are not loyal to a product or a service. They are loyal to the representative.
Mm-hmm. I tell them that all the time. I tell all of my clients when they're working with me, meet with those other companies that say they do the same thing, and then bring back to me what you think that, if there's questions, or My job and every company I'll ever be with in this industry, I was with NetCerta for 9 years. I feel like it's my job to make sure that I'm working with the best technology so that my clients know if I'm bringing them something that it's got to be the best. That's why when I left NetCerta, I just wasn't as passionate about it anymore. There was so much technology out there. So, but I tell them you should be looking to see what's out there. You should be talking to all vendors. And if you have a vendor that's telling you, don't talk to them, let me talk to them, or don't meet with them, there's a problem there.
We are in the age of digital retailing. We're in the age of video. We're in the age of everything's changed. The pure lead provider model is sinking down in the tar pits, eating the last brown shriveled leaves off the trees.
Customers aren't submitting leads anymore. People that
they're not filling out forms. They're not filling out forms.
They're not anymore. So that's where LotLinx comes in, because we're not a lead provider. We're getting people to, pick up. They're not filling out a form. They're picking up the phone and they're saying, "Is that car in stock that I just saw that I've been searching for forever?" And then coming in and buying the car. So that's what it's about.
Very good. So the dealers, how's the dealer get measurement on your results? How does the dealer get measurement that LotLinx generated that sale?
So yeah, I'll hit this, and then if I miss anything, Alex, if you want. So this is, like I said, we are looking at all channels too. So we're looking at all of the sources that a dealer is spending money on. So we have a sold report that we show all of the vehicles that have left his inventory feed that we've influenced. We'll even show the ones that we sent zero traffic to. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to see LotLinx with picking up a car after it was in a dealer's feed. Let's say a dealer had a car sitting on the lot. I was just looking at one earlier, 52 days on the lot. LotLinx picked it up and started, advertising it on the channel, matching the buyer with the inventory with the buyer. And that car moved in, 23 days. And then we sent 70, or 42, I don't remember the exact stats, but we'll send like 42 VDP views, whereas the other sources sent 2 or maybe 0. So you'll always see what we're doing and what the other sources are doing. And there are some that will sell that we didn't send any traffic to. It's very rare. A majority of the time, the story that you'll see with LotLinx is that we're sending more there's shorter days on lot once a vehicle gets into our campaign, more VDP views that we're sending in that shorter amount of time, and more engagements on those VDP views, which means that was a more engaged quality shopper. And it's time and time again. I just signed a good friend of mine, a Toyota dealer down in the Southeast. I won't say his name yet. I should have asked him for his permission, but I'll ask if anybody wants to know. I'll send you, and I'll ask after this. But any car that goes into the campaign with us, it moves in 10 days. 10 days turn. Now he had a pretty good turn before, but even at like 16 days, we're shaving off days on that so that we're helping him turn his inventory faster.
Fantastic. Let me let Alex jump in and expand on that.
Absolutely. And so, I stay away from the A word personally in attribution because, I've been with LotLinx for 9 years. So I've seen every iteration of product that we've delivered. And, what I've been finding is certainly we can talk about attribution and leads and engagements and conversions. And those are all important measures of, shopper intensity and customer, propensity to purchase. But really what I like to break it down to is dollars and cents. Mm-hmm. How much did you invest? How much did you profit out of that investment? Where did that investment go? And in the end, what was your cost per sale? And that's what I really like to dive in with dealers. If they know their holding cost and they know what it's going to cost them to recon, every vehicle on average, we can help give them a profit and loss report at the VIN level to say, here's what you promoted in our campaign. Here's a comparison of VINs that were not in our campaign, very similar make models. And you can see the stark difference between days to sale to the point Melissa referenced earlier. Days to sale is decreasing. The investment to sale in that VIN is decreasing. And overall, we're able to take their budget. A dealer's got a budget of $20,000. They can allocate it to different channels, different ways. What we do is we try and make sure that budget has coverage for the dealer, because coverage to me is incredibly important. There could be vehicles that have been on the lot and we've seen them 30 days, full set of images. 2 people have seen that car through the digital space. And that's terrifying. And so, not only measuring, cost to sale, how their investment is working for them at the vendor level, I also really like to look at coverage because I think that is an incredibly important part of the sale process.
And Jim, I just want to touch on something. We talk very much about landing people on a VDP page. And something that I forgot to mention was that the traffic that we're sending to a VDP page, they are net new customers. They're net new shoppers. So they have not been to the dealer's website within the last couple of years. Now, that's not to say that they're not going to get that customer maybe through AutoTrader, Cars.com, or a third party. It'll just take them a lot longer, and they'll have a lot less opportunity to get them to get that customer. So it's important also to know that we are not just driving people to a VDP page, but these are pre-targeting people. This is pre-target, not retargeting. These people have not been to their website.
I think you've pretty accurately answered what I wanted to know. But what I was looking for was how do we give the dealer proof?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think you both answered that question pretty adequately. Because that's one thing I scream at dealers: get proof.
Right.
You remember the movie Jerry Maguire? Show me the money.
Yeah.
You don't show me the attribution, and don't come in with smoke and mirrors and bring your supervisor in. Show me the money. So.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think for that shopper, there's really no such thing as one-to-one attribution anymore. A shopper is shopping. They're going to go look at your car on AutoTrader and on Cars.com and on CarGurus, and then maybe go to another one of those 4,000 research sites. So, it's our job to be able to know when that shopper is about to buy and know when to show that VIN-specific ad to them at the right time to get them right onto the dealer's website. So
it was amazing. The other day, somebody said to me, well, Mr. Ziegler, I get research from Edmunds. I said, yeah, well, now that CarMax owns 51% of them, you just keep doing that.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
And we're not here to say that any other channel is not working or is not good necessarily. We're just saying
I will.
Way. Yeah, we look at it all day long. I don't mind if a dealer stays on one third party so that they feel like they're not missing anything. But when you look at those VDP views, when you break it down VIN by VIN, it's the same eye candy cars on every one getting the most VDPs. And then you've got, like Alex was saying before, you've got 200 and something cars on the channel on the Cars.com or AutoTrader, yet only 50. I had a dealer that had 225 used cars. He had like something near like 6,000 VDP views. 5,000 of them landed on 79 cars. And then 41 of those, sorry, not stats, but half of those cars they weren't even frontline ready. They didn't even have the right pictures. So it's just a mess out there. It's not.
The right pictures. What do you mean by that?
So, a dealer might have, pictures coming soon.
Image coming soon. Yeah, that's the classic.
Soon, a photo coming soon. You got a stock picture of a manufacturer stock unit. Yeah.
Or no pictures at all, yet they're still driving traffic to it. So
dealers' websites are so they can't keep them up to date.
Yeah.
The summer just ended, and there's still cars on the lot with snow on the ground and trees in the background with no leaves. Just last winter.
Right.
We're almost entering the new winter. So yeah. Alex, what have we not talked about?
I think you said something that caused some interest to me, and that's when we think of the channels, we integrate with all these channels. We have our own ad platform integration that goes into every single ad platform. We integrate into all the social channels. We have our own native network. We're on the review sites. The key isn't that one is better than the other. It's which VIN, which car is best for that moment for that channel. And so that's how we manage our distribution. Is we look at it not, I can get 25-cent clicks from Facebook, which you can, fantastic, but are they the right clicks? Are they the right quality? And so what we find is when a dealer says, I don't want to be on Facebook, I don't love their traffic, I say, well, for which VIN? Because there may be some VINs in your inventory where we see incredible quality from Facebook, and there may be VINs in your inventory where we see very little quality, and we manage that for you. You don't have to worry about that part of it. So every channel has value. The importance is you need to let the VIN determine which channels it's going to, instead of the channel determining which VINs it's going to advertise. And I think that's a really critical piece to me. that, is often lost and missed, and a key education piece for dealers, that it is about the VIN in the end, and you need to let that VIN determine which channels it should be advertised to.
Do you know this rascal Tom Frawley?
I don't know if I know Tom, but hi, Tom. He's in
He,
Chicago.
he says hello. I don't know if he's saying hello to me or you, but hello, Tom.
Maybe both of us.
Well, what the heck?
Tom must have heard my Honda Civic in Chicago example and piqued his ears. So
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Melissa, what else should we talk about today?
I'm just so excited to find a technology that really focuses on the dealer's inventory and talking about what the technology is looking at is like margin potential, days on lot, consumer, like so much data points on this vehicle to help a dealer make more money on that vehicle, to help, move this vehicle faster. So there's a lot of different things in the market that will help determine how fast that, which car should be moving. And, what we're seeing is on average, there's still about $900 of front end gross on used cars that we're finding, which is, everyone's saying, and
Okay, well, let me
like $6,000 a copy. Well, still there's still some more money to be made, and efficiency. It's all about efficiency.
Let me ask you a question. Now, if they contact you, and they're going to contact you at melissa@lotlinx.com, there it is. What are you going to do with the deal? What are you going to do? Are you going to give them a demo? You're going to do a demo with their own inventory? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I would not go strictly into a demo until I understood their inventory and their needs and what's going on. And
okay. I just picked up the keyboard and Melissa@lotlinx.com, call me back.
Yeah.
So you call me back, and what are we going to do?
Well, first I would just like to know where they're spending their dollars, where they have their inventory listed, and then so we can either, if they'd like to share their data with me, we can get their inventory feed and their Google Analytics. It's a very simple process. I'll send them
Google Analytics. That's what I was looking for.
Yep. And then it will import into a dashboard that will literally lay out every single one of their VINs and what it's costed them per channel down to every VIN for all of their marketing. I literally look at this. I can't, the highest I've seen to date, I found one, there's a Kia dealer. I won't say who it is. $15,000 landed on one car. The dealer was furious. From another, it was a search engine marketing source. They were literally driving traffic. It had like hundreds of clicks that was going to one car. $15,000 of spend. I saw another car with like 7,000.
One
car. All of their budget was just landing on a single car. It's not distributed evenly to help the rest of the cars move. And that car wasn't even selling. It's just, so we can
now see, we've been in this broadcast for about 35 minutes, and people are starting to understand what we mean by VIN specific.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And VIN aware.
VIN aware, VIN specific unit, not $15,000 budget landed on one car. So
let me ask you this question. A dealer knows and I think I mentioned this to you earlier, but not during the live broadcast. If a dealer knows, when they're trying to get a car frontline ready, if it's going to need tires, if it's going to need, new wiper blades, a new paint job, right? But you know every single dollar that it takes to recon that car, but you don't know, per your marketing channels, how many dollars are going to that particular VIN. It's just, it's crazy. This is the wave of the future. You should be able to know with your marketing expenses how much it takes to market a single car, just like how much it takes to get it frontline ready. Don't you think?
Fantastic. So as we near the end of the broadcast, I'm going to go back to Alex for a second. Alex, what have we not talked about?
So I think what's really interesting about where Melissa's going with that is, and I kind of had the same question for you, which is, with all the information that dealers have, why are they not looking at their expenses at the vehicle level and instead averaging it out? Mm-hmm. But I think what, most importantly, the kind of part that I'm missing is when a dealer is going to email Melissa and say, hey, here's my dealership, here's my URL, I'd love to learn more. We can plug them into our system into our VinView optimizer, which is the dashboard Melissa referenced,
Mm-hmm.
and we can show them if they have an 80/20 problem. And with that information, we can give them insights across all of their marketing sources. Again, we are not saying, here's only what LotLinx is doing. We're saying, based on your Google Analytics, your personal data, here's where everything is going. Here's where the budget's being allocated. And what we can do is help them better understand at that vehicle level where those marketing dollars are going. Because it seems to me, a lot of the dealers I talk to, they say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Dealer, do you know how much you're spending on inventory advertising? Well, Alex, on average for new car, it's $600, and for used, it's about $750. And I said, well, what about this VIN? I have no idea. They don't know. And that's the scary part. And
Right.
we can open eyes. And so I think for me, the one thing I would encourage for our listeners is it's a free tool. We can give you these insights. Reach out to Melissa because we can show you if you have these types of problems. Because to your point earlier, a lot of the attribution, if there's a vendor that's doing that or they're running AdWords and it's doing that naturally, no one's going to want to communicate that. They're going to say, look at this excellent click-through rate we had. Look at all these leads we submitted. But the main problem is I have a car that's been sitting on my lot that I'm investing money into that's not moving. And I think, that to me is the big key. And, I think that's an interesting part that we need to touch on is there's a lot that you can learn about your inventory with very little effort. And Melissa's, one of the best at taking you through that.
Alex, what impressed me when you said Google Analytics, Google Feed, I tell people all the time, dealers will say to me, well, Jim, look at the stats the vendor showed me here. Listen, don't ever trust statistics about a vendor supplied by the vendor.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I see the same thing.
I tell people, Google. Well, here's some stuff, Google. Well, here's some stuff my vendor, Google.
So we pull back the curtain and I look in Google Analytics all the time and it's apples to apples. I'm looking at all of their channels evenly in Google Analytics. It's GA traffic, it's GA data. So there's no, I tell them too that the dashboard stuff, if they're just showing you dashboard stuff, it can be manipulated.
I've been saying that for years. Google is the only measurement.
It is.
Google is the only measurement. Never trust statistics, data supplied by a vendor or a company the vendor hired.
But you know what else, Jim? You got to be careful if the vendor's in control of your Google Analytics, and you got to make sure that they're also putting in the right goal conversions, because I can't tell you how many times I'll look in a dealer's analytics and it'll say time on site as a conversion, or all these event tracking they'll set as a hard conversion, and it skews the numbers, and that's what they're importing into their dashboard. So
the best way to analyze a vendor's specifics is to have another vendor do it for it.
Right.
When you have another vendor analyze another vendor, you're going to get a real picture.
As long as it's apples to apples too.
Exactly. I know that. I'm being very broad, but okay, kids. Guess what? I am absolutely thrilled with the information we put out today, and I hope people get on Melissa at LotLinx.com, and Alex, anything at all we need to talk about?
I think we've kind of covered what we need to, and I think for me, again, I'll mention it is it's time to get proactive. And the market is great right now. The inventory is not great. That's going to balance itself out. That's going to come back. We can help you be proactive about your inventory marketing decisions. We've got a great team of machine learning engineers and analysts that have been working tirelessly for a long time on building these tools, capturing this data, looking at historical trends, and being able to help dealers make the best decisions they can about their inventory marketing. And I very much look forward to connecting with anyone on any deeper questions. Absolutely.
I have learned so much today. Two of the biggest things I learned was how to learn to say Karpyza and Marjanovic. Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great broadcast. Melissa, anything we haven't discussed?
All I would say is if a dealer can't, like Alex was saying too, if a dealer doesn't know exactly where his marketing dollars, how much each individual VIN, where his marketing dollars went, then this could be very eye-opening eye-opening to them. Third parties also. So the cars.com, the Auto Trader, the Car Gurus, we look at all of that. Any channel, Carfax. So I can look and show overlap. I can see down to every single VIN how much of that budget is going towards each car.
Well,
so
you'll take on all contenders, absolutely.
I will take them on. I just want to make sure I'm all about educating dealers and helping make sure that they're being the most efficient. And that's why I love LotLinx, is because we're not a specific channel. I'm basically showing you all of your marketing and helping to educate, to show, down to every single one of your VINs where your dollars are going, and help you guys make educated
decisions. One last word to dealers, general managers, BDC directors. It's Melissa at LotLinx.com, LINX. Remember that. Okay, we're going to say goodbye. Wave at them, folks.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much, Jim.